All right, as promised, I'm going to be modeling something from The Last of Us. And as you can see, here's a screenshot from in-game. And this is actually what got my attention at first, this thing. But you can see as I zoom in, it's a little tricky to see what the details are on this. But that's what I'm going to model. And to be honest with you, I'm also interested in this lamp. But over here in Blender, you can see I've got a reference image. You can download that if you want to model along with me. And this is the best that I could do. I've added a couple of bolts on this and a button that you would press to turn the lights on. So that's a little different. So I'll say that it's inspired by The Last of Us. All right, so I've moved that back a little bit, and we're going to get started on this right now. So bring in the reference. By the way, I pressed S3 to scale it 3 times in case you care about that. All right, so here we go. Shift-A, mesh plane. I'm going to edit mode. I'm going to scale it down. I'm actually going to scale it down. I don't know if you can see this. There's a faint line or area you can see gray and to white. I want to scale it down to there if you can. And then I'm going to scale it in the Z. Again, I'll hold shift to move it slower, just up to about there, because I'm going to be extruding back for the rest of that. All right, so I'm going to look from the side and press E to extrude. I'm going to pull back a little bit, and I'll press 1 again, and I'm going to press S to scale and come out like that. And if it's not perfectly on the reference image, that's totally fine. So I actually went the wrong way. I'm just going to pull that back like that, and then I'm going to extrude one more time and come straight out, and then I will X faces, get rid of that back face. So I've got this, and it pretty much covers the area. I'm going to press 2 for edge selection and Shift Alt and click these outer edges, and we're going to bevel them to give them a bit of rounding. I'll try to keep it a little bit low poly, so I would often do 5. I'm going to do Control B, and I'll do 3 instead. Not even looking at the diagram to do this, just that. All right, then I'm going to grab here. Let's give this a bevel. I'm holding Shift usually just to move a little bit slower. Do something like that. And this one too, but I'll do that a little tighter so that I get a bit of a sharper edge there when it all comes down to it. All right, so now I want to do this piece there. And so what I think I'll do is I'll take this and I'm going to press I to inset. I'm going to pull in a little bit like that so that this row of polys is flat. Press 3 for face selection, Shift Alt and click there, and I'm going to press E and just gesture back a little bit. Doesn't have to go too far in. And now I want to bevel that edge, actually both edges. This one, so I'm holding Shift and Control, Shift and Control. Both of those edges will bevel it, then it'll catch light and hopefully look good. Control B and pull, and I want the 3. Now, if I just go ahead and shade smooth, I'll actually put on the cavity shader first. This area inside here is not too defined, so I'll just come in here, Control R for a loop cut, and I'll put it there and there. And now we have this. It looks okay. All right, so I'm going to go back in wireframe. Let's do this button. Shift A, mesh circle, and I'll use 16 vertices for this. You could get away with even less, but not really much less. So you might as well go for 16 or 18 or something like that. Just getting that set up roughly in place. That's pretty good. Let's have a look at this. Okay, I'm going to extrude out. E to extrude, pull out just a little bit. E, I'm going to pull out just a little bit more, not too much, maybe even equal. And then I'm going to press S to scale. I want it a little bit angled like that. We're going to have a look at this. And I need to pull it into here to about where that white ends. All right, at this point, I'm going to press E and S, come in flat to about where the button would be. I'm not perfectly on the button, but I think it's going to be just fine. And then I'm going to E to extrude. I'm going to pull in a little bit, and I'll also curve it like that. Now my button's going to come out of there, but I want a little bit more area, so I'm going to press E and S and just do that. Okay, so that's going to be that. Now what I'll do is I'll take this piece, Shift D to duplicate. I'm just going to pull it out, P to break it out, and I'm going to make the button out of that. So I'll just push it back in, and then I'm going to extrude out a little bit past the surface so you can sort of push the button down. Something like that's okay. I have to make a face, 3 to go into face selection, and Control B, And I'll pull that back quite a bit down to there, and I'll roll up the mouse a couple of times. So you get a nice button. You can shade smooth that. Let's bevel this. So 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click these ones. I can do them all together really. Control B, something like that, but I only want 3, so there's 2, 3. And we got it. And let's see. Let's pull that back a little bit, make sure that it's in. Let's shade smooth. I'm going to join those 2 together. But let's come in here and Alt N recalculate outside. And let's just decide if we want another edge loop coming down in here at all or up. I don't know if I need one really. Yeah, I just threw that in. All right, let's, did I do that already? Merge by distance, I'm sure there's nothing. So there's my button, and it is in there. Okay, now we're going to do the bolts. And to do the bolts, I'm going to take part of the button here. So I'll take that, Control plus a few times, just to about there maybe. Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, P to break it out so it's its own object. And I just want to push that in a little bit. And then we will go into edit mode and wireframe. And we'll pull it up. And I'll just S to scale it, make it a little bit smaller than the button itself. Just want to make sure that it is embedded. There it is. Okay, and I'll stay there. My 3D cursor is there so I can mirror this in the X and in the Z. I'm going to apply the mirror and then I'm going to join these. Did I not apply the mirror? I'm going to apply the mirror and join those, and I'm also going to join the button. And I'll come in here and Alt N, recalculate outside, and merge by distance, and we are good to go. And we have this piece right now. And it looks pretty similar. All right, the next thing we need to do is to create this, and you may be able to see there's a little piece that comes off and then joins to the back. And the way we're going to make those is using a circle with 16 vertices. Leave my 3D cursor right there, just press G and move this over. I'll press 1 so you can see it a little bit better. Let's try that. E to extrude and come up to there and just get it to the position you like. Doesn't have to be exactly on the reference. All right, but we're going to pull it out and let's cap it off. So F to make a face, select there, F to make a face. And I'm going to build the piece that comes out of it from the front, and then we'll flip it around. It's a little bit easier. So in face selection and C for paint select, just click those, turn to the side. We're going to extrude them out so we get this, and let's straighten this. So let's SY0 and get rid of those faces. So we have this now, and now in 2 edge selection I'm going to select all the edges around the top and do the same thing on the bottom. Take just a few clicks, and we're going to bevel, Control B, pull, and I just need the 3. And then I'm going to Shift Alt and click this edge and make sure I've got all of it going all the way around. I guess I need to get that piece there. Let's straighten that in the Y, SY0, and then let's bevel that edge like that. Okay, let's take the whole thing and we want to rotate it back, so we're going to rotate Z 180 and push this in something like this. There's a little bit of a stem left and it sticks out. Let's take this though and Alt N, recalculate outside and shade smooth, and we're going to mirror this and we'll have the 2 of them just like that. It's time to move on to the lamp part itself, and to do that let's just bring in another circle with 16 vertices and pull it over to here, keeping the 3D cursor right where it is for now. All right, scale this down and move it until we get roughly what we want. Okay, that's good. E to extrude, pull up. Let's go into wireframe. I may just scale it a bit there. Grab that edge. E, pull up to here and scale. Fan it out to like that. E and come up. And then for this part, let's go E and come in a little ways like that, so we have some room so we can bevel these edges. And then let's press E again and scale it in, S to scale, and then just pull it down like that. And that's all we have to do for that. Let's close up this end though, So select that edge, F to make it face, and while we're here, we might as well bevel that. So I'm just going to use 3. I'm going to bevel in there as well. Just like that. I'm going to grab both of these, and we will bevel that. And shade smooth, recalculate, make sure it's okay. You're not going to see the top of it, so that's going to be all right as it is. And I'm going to move on to that. And to do that, we might as well grab a circle here. Let's just grab that, Shift D to duplicate, pull it up, P to break it out, although I will be joining it, but it's just a little bit easier. And let's see where we're at. Okay. So let's get this thickness, so let's just S to scale. And then we'll pull it down underneath. We can go to wireframe, just so that looks like it's embedded. Extrude up, E, come out. Extrude up, come in, extrude up. It's very simple, and it doesn't have to be exact. You can do whatever design you like, just to there. And now we're going to extrude all the way up to here. All right. Extrude and scale out a little bit. E up to there. Okay, I'm going to go back into solid view. And I don't want to leave it completely open, so I'm just going to go E and S and just do that. And the next piece will come off there. All right, so now we want to work on this. I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to pull that down just a bit more. Shift Alt and click these edges here and bevel them with 3. And I think the best thing to do would be to grab those and bevel those as well. And even this one underneath. Or you can drag an edge loop up. And if you can't get to it, we'll just slash key. We can focus just on this here. All right, that's good. So let's just have a look at that. We didn't do the top, and that's why that's happening. Control B, like that. And this is why I bevel underneath for the shading of this. Otherwise, you can just drag one edge loop up to there, and that's probably going to be just fine like that as well. Let's just take it though, Alt-N, recalculate outside, slash key to bring everything back. And I think we're okay with that. Let me just double check if I don't need another one. Okay. All right, let's join those together. Control J. If you want, you can bring this in further if it bothers you like that. You know, maybe it looks a little bit better. I don't know, not that you'll ever see that, but okay. I just want to have a quick look here. Okay. All right, so now let's do the lamp shade, and then we'll talk about what's inside. And to do the lamp shade, I'm going to grab one of these circles, Shift D, scale it out, P to break it out, and we're going to take this. And I'm kind of just building off this symmetrical type thing. Come to about there. Let's go into wireframe, E to extrude, and pull up to here. And I think before I taper it in, I will do a little bit of work on this. So I want this to have some thickness. Now you can use solidify, but I'm just going to go E and Alt S and pull, don't push. And just give it a little bit of thickness like that. It doesn't have to be much. And then I want these pieces that protrude off. So I'm going to drop an edge loop in here and Control B with just 2. Bring it up near the top, just so you have a little area for a lip type thing. In face selection number 3, Shift Alt and click there. And Shift Alt and click there, and then just don't overdo it as we do this. E and Alt S, and I'm going to push just a little bit like that. That might even be too much, but it's totally fine, but just don't overdo it. Now I don't need this edge anymore. I can X dissolve it, and there's one more down here we can get rid of as well. X and dissolve. And while we're down here, let's bevel here, here, and this one, just a little bevel. Control B. That's 2, 3. And we'll probably need another edge loop, but we'll do that in a minute. Do the same thing up here. This one, and this one. Control B. Let's take this now and scale that in. And then let's drop an edge loop here and Control B, just with 2, to squish that up and to fix the shading. And we have that. All right, it's pretty low poly, so let's Alt-N, recalculate outside. Let's merge by distance. I'm sure there's nothing. So we are getting close. Now, in this one here, you don't really see any light inside there, but I'm going to do something. I think I'm going to do something. So for this, I'm going to take another circle, Shift D to duplicate it, pull it up, P to break it out. I'm going to hide the lampshade. Take this, I'm going to scale it down, so imagine that it fits in there, and I'm going to just make something. I'm going to just bring it up like this to up to there is fine. I'm going to drop an edge loop here. I'm going to bring another edge loop in kind of close to it, and then I'm going to scale that out. I'm going to pull it up a bit because I'm going to bevel. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. And I'll take this and bring it in a little bit more. You can do any shape you want. I filled that, and I'm going to bevel this one like that. I'll take the whole thing, push it down, and I'll shade smooth, and I'll recalculate outside, and I'll decide if I like it, I'm going to join it. Alt-H to bring that back, so just in case you're down there, you'll see something. So I'm going to take this and this, and I'm going to join those. We're going to do this piece of metal in just a moment. The next thing we need to do, though, is we need to move the light in front. So this would be the wall. I want it close to the wall, as you can see here, but I want it a little bit away as well, maybe around that red line there. So just position your lamp, and then to do this metal piece, let me show you a neat trick to do that. We'll come in here and we will select there, bring our 3D cursor right to there. Look from the front, bring in a plane, rotate X 90, press G, and just drag it until it's very close to the middle. This edge is poking right up to the middle. Select this edge and bring it down, go into wireframe, to the top or up, whichever direction you have to go, to the top of this curve. Take this edge, bring it to there, to the bottom of the curve. Select this edge over on the side. Look from the top. All right, there's my plane. I'm going to press G, and I'm going to pull this into the middle of this. So it goes from the middle to there. Let's go back and have a look at this. So this is what we have. Drop an edge loop right in the middle. Select this edge, hold Shift and select this edge, X edges, and you now have this. One for vertex selection. Select this point, this one, and this one. And we're going to curve these ones to make this sort of S curve. Shift Control B, start to pull, press C for clamping so that they will hit and not overlap, and roll your mouse up a few times. Now this, you can decide how many polys you want. That's what I'm going to do. Click, it's done. Take this point, pull it up a bit, or you can look on here and you can say, okay, I want it right to whatever. We can figure that out later. What we also need to do though is select it all, and because those points hit but they didn't go past, we need to merge. Merge by distance. You will have gotten rid of a few, and you now have your curve. All right, let's convert that to a curve. Come to the curve dialog box under geometry, bevel round, just increase the depth until you get something you like. You can look on the diagram, and we may be ever so slightly off, but that looks pretty good to me if that was like a piece of metal or something. So I'm going to go with that. So let's scroll up here and change the resolution to 4, and then let's convert that to a mesh. Come down here and fill this in, go into edit mode, select that edge, F to make a face, and just round it off nicely with however many you want. Like that. I'm going to shade smooth that. I'll make sure that it's flipped. I'm sure it's fine. And if you're happy with it, you can go ahead and join that, Control J. Now I'm going to bring the 3D cursor back to the middle, so I'm going to select all of this, and I'm going to Shift S, cursor to selected. I'm going to take this, and it should be set to the 3D cursor, and I'm going to mirror it. I don't need this anymore. All right, this is what I have. I'm going to apply that mirror and come in. I think I'll just go ahead and I'm going to join that. So I should have everything joined except for those. All right, fine. And apply the mirror for that. And I'm going to join those. I'm going to come in one more time, recalculate outside, merge by distance, and I got rid of 32 vertices. And that is the model right there. Shadow, both. And let's come over here and have a look. I think I'll take this and I'll slide it above the x-axis. And we have our model. Now everything is joined, and so you could easily come in here and select a piece of that. Let's say you want them the same, a piece of that, Control L, and you've selected those, and you can apply your material to that, or you could, you know, add this, Control L, I want that. I mean, ideally what I'll probably do is take these guys, Control L, and add an emission, you know, to that. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. Like I say, if you look at the original, there's no light coming out of them because it's daylight in this scene. All right, so you can do whatever you want, but basically all of this is the same material, and then you've got the lampshade with the folds. So I would just do this in a nice grungy metal, and I may not even do much. I might just put sort of a white shiny plastic, but grungy, for the bulbs, and not even put an emission, and then I'll do the folds in Substance Painter and a bit of a fabric material, and we'll be done. So that was an easy model to do. Let's just have a look at the statistics and see. All right, it came out as 8,000, probably because of, maybe when I converted these into a mesh, I could have used a resolution of 3 instead of 2. That would have cut it down, and, you know, here and there, you know, these bolts maybe had an extra edge loop in there, and that added another 10 or 12 vertices, you know, to each. Or would it be 16 because they were 16? I don't know. You know, that kind of thing. But anyways, I'm not concerned about that at all. So that's it for that model. All right. So in the next video, we're going to texture this, and then we'll move on to some more stuff. I might be interested in doing this lamp, or maybe doing this TV stand. And if you have ideas, let me know as well. All right. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.